Hi folks, welcome. It's time for Digital Diversity Streams, Spooktober edition. This month we are going to be attempting to stream every weekend with a different game from the Spooktober VN Jam, as long as it meets our criteria of the people making the game, or the majority of the people making the game, fall under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella. And today we're starting off with something very special that I have been very excited about. We are going to be playing Werehouse by Demidito Studios. You can check down there, also tagged as Sad Ghost Studios, and I'm super excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. I should probably put on captions. So there we go. So yes, Werehouse, visual novel romance game with supernatural creatures, and I'm super excited. Hey Draz, how you doing? Woo! Look at this. Look at this beautiful woof on the front there. They even have a collar with woof on the front, and I'm envious. I'm very envious. How you doing? Yeah, I am ready to romance a warehouse. I told Maddie, the lead writer on this, that I had better be able to romance a warehouse, and I hope that's the case, because, you know, I want to romance someone who every full moon turns into a house. Because that'd be fun. That'd be an interesting romance. Danny Snackats! It's a Tangle virus! How's everyone doing? So, as far as I'm aware, our romance options out. Yeah, data house. Our options are a werewolf, he, him werewolf, they, them gorgon, and she, her selkie. I'm not sure what pronouns the warehouse goes by, but I am excited to check that romance option out. How's everyone doing? Onyx! I haven't seen you in half a second. I hate these headphones. These are terrible headphones. I managed to destroy one of my headphones. Yeah, surprised to see you here. You're making your visual novel. I am very happy for you. I knew you'd want to keep making them. They're a very important part of who you are. For those who don't know, Tangled Virus is an incredible visual novel maker who makes some very powerful and impressive games. And you should check out Tangled's work. Tangled, did you want to drop a link to your itch page, please? So it's up there. I'm just going to quickly switch over my headphones, because even though one of these earbuds doesn't work, it's still better than what I'm using right now. Here we go. Oh, that's better. Okay. You're slowly adjusting to daylight savings? I hate. Yeah, there's a bunch of gay stuff there. Daylight savings is wrecked, so this is now Australian. We've gone from Australian Eastern Standard Time to Australian Eastern Daylight Time, which means that Australia goes from having like 3 time zones across the entire continent to having 5 or 6, and it just ruins everything. Oh. But yeah, I'm excited. There was a lot of really cool stuff that popped up as part of the Spooktober visual novel jam. I had a quick look the other day, and there were like 40-something entries at least. I'm definitely not going to be able to get to all of it. As I said, for digital diversity, it is developers who fall under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella. Yeah, ruined me getting sleep too, because the cats aren't used to daylight savings time. They just think it's normal. So we've got one game this week. We definitely have another game next week, which I'm super excited about. It's gonna have lesbian vampires. For those who are keen to check that out, it looks a lot of fun. Yes, it looks good. It looks like a lot of fun. You love those. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Heck yes. It has kisses. That's lewd. Kissing's lewd. Loot. Kissing's loot. You heard it from the caption, folks. Kissing is now loot. Get your looting in. Does it have hand-holding? Oh, that's a good question. Hand-holding is important for lewdness. Okay, I think we are maybe behind the scenes. Yeah, we all just assume that behind the scenes everyone is queer and everyone holds hands. That's just what we have to do. But I think we are at a good stage to start getting rolling. What do people think? Do we wanna date the warehouse now? We're getting ready to. Oh wait. Hey, my other headphones started working. Okay. And without further ado, let us go into the warehouse. First, because this is me, I'm gonna check out the UI. Because me and UIs, big thing. Oh, this is some nice. Oh, yes. This is a pretty UI. Look at this. I like it. We've got. Who we got? We've got Time Patches, our very wonderful co-host on the Digital Diversity podcast, and who helps me run the Digital Diversity Discord as well. Jane Tito did some of the writing on this. Nice. I've definitely featured games by Jane before. Yeah, I'm hoping to get Maddie in to help me design my game, which I have decided that the demo is going to be longer than I originally intended, so there's going to be more for people to play. That should be out this month too. Yes, this is all very good. Yes, I'm... so, grabbed music from Lee Rosesphere. So, Lee Rosesphere does a lot of really amazing Creative Commons and open license music. We use his music on the Digital Diversity podcast. Highly recommend checking out Lee's music. Really good stuff. Wonderfully chill as well. But this main menu theme is Recovery by Hellstar Plus. Hey Max! We ready to do some datings? Okay, let's go back to the menu. And let us go to Warehouse. I bet Halloween this year is gonna suck. Okay, maybe I'm just in a bad mood. The job interview is over now, at least. But it went just as well as all the others have lately, which is not well. Heck, mood. And besides, I'm right. No doubt this Halloween I'll be stuck at home with my siblings all night with nothing else to do. The street hasn't made much of an effort to dress itself up for the season. Either it's only a few days until Halloween, but all I can see is a few badly carved jack-o'-lanterns up in one of the apartment windows, and a piece of orange tinsel blowing limply in the wind. I'd forgotten it was even that close to Halloween until today. To be honest, when one of the interviewers asked if I was dressing up this year. Damn, it's getting dark. I should have called home before I left, really. But it's too late, now that I'm almost there. My family will be pissed that I'm not home already, but it's not my fault the job interview ran so late. You're trying to do Monstertober this year, or you're a couple of days behind? You've got some time to catch up. You've got plenty of time to catch up. Not that I'll get it, or that I really want to get it, but I have to keep applying for everything I see, I guess. Mood. Never mind. I shove my earbuds deeper into my ears and cross the street, heading into the front yard of the abandoned warehouse and the sprawling corner lot. Why? Wire digs into my palm as I hop the fence. It's a bit of a drop to the other side, and I always end up with weeds caught in my shoelaces. But the shortcut around the front gate and across the warehouse car park is quicker. You're doing Mutant Exterminator Month this month? Nice. Hey! The hike through the abandoned warehouse yard is kind of spooky, but it's worth it not to have to walk all the way around the corner, down the laneway, even if the asphalt of the car park is nearly invisible underneath blown-in sand and weeds. Saves a couple of minutes walk anyway, and I've always kind of liked this old place. Even though it's crumbling, it feels kind of like an old friend somehow. Except it doesn't. Not today. The one I'm using is Web Captioner. It's actually quite good. As long as I speak clearly, it works fine. Unfortunately, it's not very good with Australian accents. So I have to tone down what little accent I have, because otherwise it doesn't work too well. It just has some problems and gets a little flickery, you know, because Aussie accents don't really like it. Actually, it did pretty well there. It's done pretty well lately. You do need a quite clear connection to your microphone, though, to make it work. Highly recommended. I cut through this yard all the time, more often than I'd admit to my parents, but something's different this time. Not sure if it was just a breeze, but the hairs on the back of my neck go up all at once. But it's probably nothing. I've walked this way millions of times. I amble further along the left arm of the warehouse that reaches around the corner of the block and into the car park. But unlike any of the other million times I've walked towards this corner though, I can see light. Soft golden light flickering through the building's dusty windows and around the pitted bricks of the corner wall. My head whips around and my headphones fall straight out of my ears before I have time to scrabble in the dirt for them. I realize I can hear voices coming from around the corner too. As much as I do value my own safety and lingering around an abandoned warehouse after dark is hardly smart, I can't help myself. Instead of backing away, I go stock still and listen. So like I was saying, I think the theme for this year is a bit too vague. It isn't. We went through your whole list and this was the best one. Shouldn't have used up all your creativity in the first few years, huh? What on earth are they talking about? I go to peek around the side wall with just one eye, not my whole body. I'm not stupid. And then I finally see it. I can't see their faces in the dark, but there's two silhouettes in the yard behind the warehouse, seeming to belong to whoever was having the argument I overheard. But there's also some kind of big, dark shape looming behind them. Might be a bush or a tree, because it's moving, though there's no breeze. The golden light is coming from behind the figures, where there's a tiny campfire, which has to be illegal this time of year. I'm also pretty sure this warehouse is private property, so that's 2 strikes in the illegal column for this group of weirdos. Then the shape behind the pair moves, and in the dim light I finally put together that the shape is a horse? A tall black one with a mane and tail that falls in soft ringlets and a coat so shiny it even reflects the dim orange firelight. I was not aware there'd be a horse. Okay, so I have a lot of questions. I'm busy looking for a third person because I heard 3 voices. Big gay reclaim abandoned warehouses. Yeah, this is just like cloud punk. You know, the punk thing to do is take abandoned corporate yards and reclaim them into useful stuff. Because I heard 3 voices, unless one of them was practicing their ventriloquy or something. When the missing third voice comes straight out of the horse's mouth. I don't know about your creativity, but I'm pretty sure I wrote pretty much the whole list this time around, so you can hardly talk. I don't mean that as a metaphor, by the way. The horse tosses its mane as it speaks, pawing at the ground in irritation as it flicks its tail toward one of the other silhouettes, and then is really unmistakable. That's a talking horse. Okay? Before I catch myself, I go skittering backwards a step, because what the fuck? My foot catches the abandoned, twisted scrap of metal on the ground. Because of course it does. The metal goes crashing past the wall into the open with the loudest noise I think I've ever heard in my life. What was that? I think we've got company. Want me to deal with it? Footsteps are coming closer. No thanks. Actually, I don't want another statue to lug around. What does that even mean? I can't seem to make myself move, and there's no way I could run all the way back to the street and hurdle the fence in time anyway, so I just cower closer to the shadow of the wall, hoping somehow they'll miss me. Please make them stop wiggling or threatening like that. For the last time, you're not actually allowed to deal with it anyway, like legally. It is murder. The word murder reverberates in my ears like a shockwave, and I swallow past what feels like a brick in my throat. This can't be good. People who hang out in abandoned warehouses after dark aren't usually chill, friendly types, are they? Well, I think that's a gross overgeneralization. There might be some really wonderful people who hang out in abandoned warehouses after dark. I squish myself further into a crack in the wall as 3 humanoid silhouettes come around the corner, one of them carrying their phone like a torch. They're led by someone dressed in dark, kind of fancy clothing. She looks wet for some reason. Can we... Oh, I can't drop the... Can I make it so I can drop the screens? There they are. I'm just gonna see if I can do the... Damn it, I can't. Okay. Normally you can, if you press middle mouse button, you can drop the text screen. Someone who hangs out in an abandoned place after dark and offended by that gross generalization. Yeah, this art's amazing. Look at this! And I think there are plants in her hair, kelp or riverweed, twined with the strand like it belongs there. Now they're closer, I can see the other 2 are hardly normal either. The taller one has wolf-like ears, slender and tall. I want those ears. How do I get those ears? Sprouting from the top of his head, and now that he's away from the fireplace, I can see that he's glowing. Eerie green light is seeping from his eyes and from his mouth when he opens it to speak. The other is shorter, dressed in a way that's almost threateningly cool. Or at least it would be if the all yellow snakes sprouting from their head weren't competing for the fear factor. I mean, you could get me a pair of ears, but I think the cats would eat them. They ate the last set. I can tell already that they see me, but nobody seems to be doing anything too threatening yet. At least. Ignoring the others, the taller one in the center, with the ears, steps closer to me, past the other 2. I break out in a sweat. He's very tall, and whether he means to or not, he's looming over me. Hi! God, there's such a puppy! That expression is gorgeous. Ah. I love. That was friendlier than I expected. What's your name? What? My name? Kaiju. We get to pick our pronouns here too. Defaults to they. I like that. I like it defaults to they. That's nice. Hi, my name's Kaiju. They, them pronouns, thanks. So, you're not human. Yeah, the name and pronouns UI is gorgeous. Good start. No shit. Did you miss the part where I was talking horse just then, or...? Yeah, what's up with that? Despite how weirdly calm I'm managing to keep my voice, my heart is beating in my throat. But for the next few seconds, they all just kind of stand there. The one who used to be a horse folds her arms, somehow both furious and perfectly disinterested. Furious and perfectly disinterested. I want that on a t-shirt. Could one of you tell me what's going on here? I just noticed that the taller one has a tail and is wagging furiously. He's just happy to meet new people. It's nice to meet you, Kaiju. I'm Cormac. Wait, Cormac, as in Cormac McCarthy, who wrote The Road? No, can't be that one. He looks over to his left expectantly, but she's ignoring all three of us now. And there is Morag. Guess we're doing introductions. I'm Esseth. Esseth. That's a fun name. Would you be able to open the curtains up just to get some natural light? Because I kind of want to hiss the TH, which I guess is the point. So it'd come out as Esseth. This is feeling much more like a chat around the water cooler than horrific supernatural murder scene I was expecting. Not to be that guy, but Cormac, are you a werewolf or what? I'll get to the one with the snakes in a minute. Oh yeah, we're all monster folk. I mean, you're all like, maybe a 2? Or are you a warehouse? Yeah, which one of you is the warehouse? I wish to speak to the warehouse. Like, on the monster scale, like the monster romance scale, none of them really get past a 2 here. But I'll go with it. Like, I think Esseth, like, gets close to maybe a 3. Turns out we were the warehouse all along. I mean, Morag can turn into a horse as a Selkie, so I don't know if that puts them up the scale or not. Demi-humans, to be exact. Myths and legends are less mythical than you might expect. Morag here is a Kelpie, Irish water spirits who can shapeshift into horses. Maybe the real warehouse is the friends we made along the way. Furious and perfectly disinterested. We drown people way less often than the myths say, I swear. And Esseth is a Gordon. A Gordon. Yes, they're a Gordon now, sorry. Sorry, Esseth, you're a Gordon. Is a Gorgon, if you didn't guess. I haven't exactly seen you around. What are you all doing back here? Apart from not attacking me on sight, which is kind of what I've been expecting since you came around the corner. We're the organizing committee of the Werehouse Haunted House. I've never heard of it. Cormac almost looks offended. Well, we're only the premier destination for spooky seasonal entertainment in the whole city. We've been the highest ranking local haunted house on Yarp and Hex Store for 3 years running, and you've really never heard of the Werehouse? As to this gourd... Punning like that will result in clothing being thrown. I mean, I kind of know what a warehouse is at least. We're standing right next to her? No. I can hear that you're spelling it wrong in your head. Doggy path is full of puns. Yeah. It's a warehouse with an E. I mean, warehouse has 2 E's in it anyway. What? Why? I mean, that seems tempting to go for the pun path. Like, I gotta say, werewolves and doggos love puns, speaking from experience. It was a pun. The theme of the first warehouse was werewolves. Spooky howling noises, wolf silhouettes stalking each group of people, the whole shebang. I didn't mind the name then, but it stuck. And now it makes no sense. It's only half a joke. As a pansexual, you vote for the pun path? Happy doggo with lots of... Okay, I think we're I've been hounded in to go for the werewolf path here. You've all been very dogged about it. Morak, for the last time, we're not changing the name. It's still a pun anyway. It's not like he stopped being a werewolf after the first year. The snakes on top of S's head are pull all right. Like they want to gesture towards Cormac, but can't be bothered moving their arms. Yes, but the public don't know that, do they? I hope not. Present company notwithstanding. Oh, that's me. Besides, Cormac, you're not the only one who has to deal with all the emails and comments asking what the name means. I'm sick to death of it. Ooh, I can help answer the emails if you want. I love talking to new people. Fuck. Okay, if you know me, if you want to really make me happy in a queer, like, occult, supernatural game, you put happy werewolves in it, or lichens, or something. One that immediately comes to mind is... Damn it, I can't remember the name of it now. I hate that I can't remember the name. I gotta find it. There's another one that I'm thinking of, and I need to remember what it is. Done by the same people who did Errant Knight. Where is it? It's on my list. Some days I really hate that my memory is so bad. You think about Scott from Monster Prom? I think about... Oh god, there's so many games on my list that actually have werewolves in them. Where the hell is it? Oh, When the Night Comes. That's it. I knew it was when something. When the Night Comes has a lichen in it, and they are a beautiful puppy boy, and I like them. Although, some non-mask representation for werewolves would be quite nice too, because so far I think every game that I've played that's had a werewolf romanceable character has been mask. So maybe that's just because they don't want to have to draw 3 bras on the character. Who knows? Yeah. Non-mask wares that aren't cats. We get a lot of cats. There's a lot of cats out there. Yes, you do. On second thought, never mind. I'll deal with it. You know what? Give me a mask Gorgon and a more classically femme werewolf, and we'll see where we go. Like, let's go Ginger Snaps territory here. Let's start fucking up the dynamic a little bit. So I thought, never mind, I'll deal with it. What do you mean? I thought you were really snowed under this year. Yes, but I don't think your help would actually solve that. Are you forgetting all those times you told people you'd answer them and left them on read for weeks from our official account? Whole point of being mass put you off Scott and Monster Prom. I've never actually played Monster Prom. Or the time you told a lady she could bring her dog and then it smelled you out as a threat and nearly ruined the whole thing hunting you down? Cormac's ears flicked to the side, distressed. Anyway, Kaiju, I still can't believe you've never heard of us. We moved in just after Halloween last year, so I guess you'd already left. And it's not like the place looks like the premier seasonal entertainment spot, you know? I'd be offended, but that's kind of the aesthetic we're going for. So, Cormac turns back towards the other two. So what do we do about this? I'm right here. Best we keep an eye on them, right? My cheeks go pale. I love our character art, by the way. Like, all the character art so far is gorgeous, and I love it to bits. I love this hoodie. I want this hoodie. It's so cute. It annoys me that I can't drop the... Don't look so afraid. We wouldn't do anything horrible to you. I promise. Morag and Esseth don't look like they totally endorse that statement, but weirdly, I kinda trust Cormac. It's hard to tell if it's just an act or not, but it comes across much more like an overgrown puppy than a scary werewolf. Damn right. We just need to keep the fact that we're real monsters under wraps. That's all. Can you do that for us? Right, Kaiju? The fact they didn't immediately start screaming when they saw us is probably a good sign. I feel like you might be putting a lot of faith in someone you met minutes ago. She's not wrong. Well, why don't you stick around for the next few days, Kaiju? Maybe you can help us with the haunted house. Oh, no, I don't... Esseth, that's a wonderful idea. Cormac's voice runs over Morag's like a freight train, but I get the feeling she's used to that. If Kaiju is dog-tired from helping us set up, then they won't have time to plot around revealing us or gather evidence or any of that. Dog-tired. Fuck! Oh, you can tell this game was made by queer people. Holy shit. Even the characters can't stop laughing at their own puns. Okay, I'm good. Alright. Morag rolls her eyes, but I doubt Cormac even noticed that. He's too wound up in their wonderful idea, I guess. And it's not that there's nothing in it for you too, Kaiju. Think about all the cool kinds of monsters you'll get to meet in a totally safe way. That's a novelty for humans, right? I mean, also legally we have to pay you, so there's that. Oh good, because I don't take work for exposure, even when it's for supernatural monster folk who may or may not kill me if I say no. Never work for exposure. Never, 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 never. You cannot pay your rent in exposure. You cannot pay for food in exposure. Anyone tries that shit, you say no. Same. How you doing, Arbalest? You took Finch by Cycle. Well done. Thanks, Max. Not to give you any ideas, but why aren't you just, like, bribing me or throwing me into the river or something? Morag makes us avoid murder if we can. She rolls her eyes, reaching across Cormac and flicking one of Esseth's snakes between the eyes. The whole chorus of snakes hisses back at her. I make a concerted effort to be extremely cool about it and not resort to my first instinct, which is to at the very least scream. That's a lot of snakes, but they're so cute and they all have their own personalities, and I love the one with the bow. The heckin' snake with a bow. Aside from murder being, you know, morally wrong, dealing with the legal system is so much extra paperwork. Making you work Halloween night is the only way I can think of to make sure you don't go to the police before we have time to bump out of the warehouse and get out of town. Which one is the Kevin? Oh. It's one of these two. One of these two is the Kevin. They've both got silly looks on their faces, so I'm going to assume it's one of them. Plus, a wage is kind of like a bribe, right? I mean, technically, are we going to get into the discussion here of, the capitalist system? Then yes, wages are kind of like bribes. Yeah, a wage is a bribe to get me to participate in capitalism. Mainly because you're making a lot less out of it than the person that's paying you. Imagine having a wage. Entitled 6. Well, be safe, okay? This all sounds flimsy at best, but I do need the money, so I don't want to look any further into this than I need to. Here goes, I guess. Okay, I'm in. Honorary human member of the Monster Committee or whatever. Okay, I want that on a badge. Like, every time I do a digital diversity, I come out with like a dozen different t-shirt ideas I want, and honorary member of the Monster Committee is a great t-shirt. Cormac's tail wags excitedly, and even Morag looks kind of mollified. So, now what? Oh yeah, what do we have to do then? What do we have them do then? Yeah. Don't look at me, I've had the task roster sorted for ages. You both have the link to the spreadsheet, you could have at least read it. Well, we have 3 days for them to fill for them. We do have a lot to do, but no one thing would last that long. I'd say you could work on ticket sales since you pull off being human the best. They are human, you moron. Anyway, Clarissa loves that. I could never take it away from her. Esseth leans over to me, fill me in, all conspiratorial. Clarissa's a succubus. All that positive energy of excited and nervous people is like heaven for her at the ticket booth. Oh my god, they have the succubus working at the ticket booth. That's a goddamn gorgeous idea. I love that. That's amazing. I never would have thought of that. Also, just, she's an extrovert, I guess. Can't relate. Mood. Maybe Kaiju could sort of tag along with one of us then for the next few days at least, until the actual haunt on Halloween night. Kinda like an understudy. I mean, not really. More like an apprentice, right? I've always wanted one of those. I'm amazed they get anything done with how much they bicker and how easily distracted Cormac is. Their meetings must go on for hours. Anyway, I've bitten off a bit more than I can chew this year. I could use the help. Well, so could I, just as much. We've been put behind by somebody's negligence. No points guessing who she just glared daggers at. He doesn't even blink though, either very unobservant or they're used to it, and it turns to me instead. Cormac should be on the front desk as well. Hi, you should come check out the haunted house. It's really cool. Hi, new friend, how you doing? Yeah, I want Cormac on the front desk as well. Like, you put the puppy on the front desk, right? Holy shit, I'm just getting memories back to my door bitching days. I was the puppy on the front desk. The last 10 years have just come back to me. Well, you choose then. Who do you want to work with for the next few days? Help Morag with whatever it is she does? Help Esseth handle their jobs? Or be Cormac's understudy? Put puppy on the front desk, so that'll be a huge success. Alright, I'm gonna need people to hashtag snack, puppy, or horse. And the one who wins, the one that gets the most gets the most. She's a Selkie, so she can turn into a horse. Very damp vampire. Nah, she's a horse that just drags people into swamps. Oh god, looks like Puppy is definitely gonna win. Okay. Give it another minute. Snack. Okay, we have 2 for Snack, 3 for Pup. I think this is a... You've already seen the snack path and want to play the horsey yourself? That's fair enough. Just a sweaty vampire. Do vampires sweat? Okay. I think... Fuck. Do they sweat normal? Do they sweat water? Okay. I think we have to go puppy here. I think we have to go full pup mode. Alright. We're gonna go full pup mode. We're ready for puns? We're ready for puns and doggo time? I'm excited. I'm excited. Alright. We're gonna be Cormac's understudy. Sweaty vampires. I'm a sweaty werewolf. There we go. The werewolf pumps his fist into the air. Yes, I've always wanted to have an apprentice. I'll teach you everything I know. So, not very much? Cormac turns to Morag with a blank look. What do you mean? Great, that gives me a lot of confidence about my choice of supervisor. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Never mind. Cormac shrugs and twirls back around to face me. Anyway, meet me back here tomorrow morning so you can start learning about all the hard work that goes into a haunted house behind the scenes. Sure. Soon after, once all the arguments are figured out, the 3 committee members tip dirt over the fire, their meeting over. I wave and then head home, finally finishing my usual cut corner path across the yard of the warehouse. Oh no, it's light. It glows. Like there's glowing light coming out of his eyes and his mouth when he, like, I don't know why, but apparently Cormac is powered by, like, maybe Cormac's like me and has a nuclear reactor on the inside. It's very possible. Sorry, warehouse. At least I have a job now, I guess? I want a Halloween job. I'd work in a haunted house. On the way to the warehouse the next morning, I find myself stopping just outside the fence. I don't know if I fully come to terms with everything that happened last night. Not only did all my preconceptions about the world get completely upended by meeting 3 living, breathing cryptids, but they offered me a job? Kind of? Why can't 3 random cryptids offer me a job? Okay, I need Mothman, a Jackalope, and Nessie to offer me a job. We offered you a home instead. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm a cryptid too, so that kind of makes sense. Reflecting on the light of day, I don't even feel like I can be completely sure that... Yeah, imagine having a job in this economy. If I hop over this fence again, will I step back into the world of the supernatural? Or will it just be the same abandoned warehouse it always was? I guess there's only one way to find out. My feet sink into the weeds on the other side and I stumble for a moment before picking up the pace towards the building. Inside, each of the 3 people I met yesterday seemed to be busy with a different task. Morag is seated at a makeshift desk filling out some paperwork while Essis is up a ladder, apparently doing something to the lights. We could have had the visual job going on. Okay, what's Cormac up to? Cormac is seated cross-legged on the floor. In front of him is a big blocky laptop covered in peeling stickers. Okay, I'm feeling called out. You're considering doing art commissions lately? Do it. Hides my laptop covered in peeling stickers. As I approach him, I see those big ears on top of his head perk up. A moment later, his entire body follows them and he leaps to his feet, almost knocking over the laptop. What's up? No, I'm good. His green eyes are wide and shining and I can see his fangs and his toothy grin. Not much. Yeah, like... What are we working on today? We're doing the absolutely most important part of getting ready to run a haunted house, of course. The most important part? I wonder what he means. Sourcing 12-foot skeletons. Yeah, the little tail wag in the art is gorgeous. Like, look at this. I love this guy's skinny tail too, not a big fluffy tail. Like, looking at those ears, he looks like a were-Doberman? Or maybe a were-Dane or something? Like, what would you say with ears like that and a tail like that? Labrador? Yeah, it could be a were-Labrador. Doberman? Yeah, I'm thinking somewhere around a Doberman. Is it the costumes? Nope, that's Essith's. I'm gonna have a problem with Essith's name, I know. The special effects? Nope, also Essith. Sounds like Essith does a lot of work around here. Guess again. Is it summoning some spooky ghosts? What? I don't know. Do you have a ritual for summoning some real ghosts to haunt the place or something? Wow, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do that next year. But no, that's not it. Okay, just tell me, what is it? We're working on... Oh god. He jumps up and throws out his arms like a hyperactive magician. Marketing! Of course they put the hyperactive werewolf on marketing. Oh. Marketing. Yep. Really? That's the most important part? I mean, actually, yeah, like... I don't know how many people here work on games or in any real kind of content creation, but marketing is actually maybe not the most important part, but very close to it is a very important part. Getting some relatable ADHD vibes. I mean, that's the problem that most small studios don't have, is they don't have the marketing capabilities of a AAA studio. That pup could probably sell you anything. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the difference. Like, a AAA game will spend almost as much, if not more money on marketing the game than it does making the game. You know, it'll spend $20 million making the game, but then it'll spend $40 million on selling the game to you. So marketing is actually big, and that's one reason why we don't see a lot of indie games out there, because you need a really good marketing push. Being an indie market manager could be dope. Take pics of the games, talk about the games, nerd about the game. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Like, that is what digital diversity is here for. We are marketing the games for the devs for free. That's what I do. That's why I'm here. Because there's so many people who don't, especially in the indie world, who don't get their games out there, who need even just a little push. And that's what I'm here for. And that's what this channel is here for. You spend $100 trying to market in blood during Kickstarter, and it's so hard, yeah, like... But hey, the Kickstarter funded. Yeah, it's important and expensive unless you luck out. Like, if you manage to get... I mean, look at, what is it? Among Us. Indie game, totally not noticed for 2 years. Like, this is the big game right now. As of October 2020, Among Us is the big game. 2 years ago, no one knew what it was. Very few. Indie game wasn't there. All of a sudden, it got marketed by some people streaming it. And all of a sudden, it is the biggest game. And that's how these things work. And sometimes that's it. Maybe you just need a little push. Maybe you need a few eyes on it, and those few eyes that are attached to people will spread the word to the next few sets, and it'll go on and on and on. Yep. Yeah, definitely check out In Blood and link. It's really good. I streamed the pre-Kickstarter demo of it a while ago. Up on the YouTube channel as well. Really, really fun. Highly recommend folks pick it up. It's really cool. I recommend it. Especially right now. Right now is a good time to go check that out, since it's Spooktober and all. Of course, there's no point in any of the other work we do without marketing. I kind of want to get a screenshot of this for later. Don't mind me. Okay, we're good. Alright. Hail Nyalvatep. Oh, heck. Yeah, get it. Let's get it. Highly recommended. God, I did, Nyabolte. I actually auditioned for one of the roles in that one, and trying to get that name right was heckin' hard. If no one knows the warehouse is here, no one will come. I guess you're right. I just thought we might be doing something more spooky. Nyabolte. Yeah, exactly. Like, Well, we do want to make our posters look spooky. I think I asked how to say it properly because it was one of those difficult ones. Gosh darn Lovecraftian themed god names. And then once we've had them printed, we can spend tomorrow walking around town and putting them up all over the place. We get to go for walkies with Cormac. Okay, I'm hooked. That can be spooky too. Sometimes you see some real weirdos hanging out downtown. One time I definitely saw a ghost on the college campus. He looked really pale and sick, and he was wearing super old-fashioned clothes. That just sounds like the average student to me. The more pressing issue is the timing of this marketing campaign sounds a little off. You haven't put up posters around town yet? Isn't that cutting it a little close? It's almost Halloween already. Maybe that explains why I haven't heard of this place when it's supposedly so popular. Well, you might think that, but actually studies show that most of our target audience of high school and college students don't like to make plans too far in advance. They prefer to be more spontaneous and are much more likely to attend an event that they've just heard of around right before Halloween. This is actually fucking true. If you let people know something's happening too far in advance, they won't go. They won't remember. But you are much more likely to get an audience turn up if you put something short term than if you advertise longer term. Your personal... I figured it was I figured it was you when you started talking about In Blood. It's like, PM, yeah, I know who that is. How you doing? Like, I hope all you indie devs are keeping an eye on what Cormac's saying, because there's actually some really good stuff in here. Really? Morag interjects without looking up from my paperwork. He's making that up. He just forgot to do it earlier. I didn't forget. I was prioritizing. S's voice echoes down from the rafters. He says that every time he forgets something. Stop shaming the puppy. Shut up. Too relatable. Look, Kaiju, the important thing is we only have a few hours to make the best poster ever. Then I have to send it to the printers in time for our mission tomorrow. Are you ready? Do you have what it takes? Sure, I mean, I took a couple of art classes once. Perfect, take a look what we're working on here. He tilts his laptop at an angle and I crouch down to get a better look. Squinting at the screen, I notice that he's made some creative design choices. What's going on with the fonts here? Oh god, he's written everything in papyrus, hasn't he? I'm glad you asked. Graphic design is Cormac's passion. It's not his talent, though. So this one at the top kind of reminds you of ancient Egypt, right? Like... I fucking called it! God damn it! Comic Sans, Comic Sans! Come on, next one's gotta be Comic Sans. And this other one with the smaller information at the bottom is like writing in a comic book. It looks cool and exciting. Papyrus and Comic Sans on the same poster. We're all going to die. I bet if I saw those choice on another poster, I'd want to find out what it was advertising for sure. I mean, we all know what font choice to use for any spooky event, and that is the font that they used for Diablo. Because I don't know a goth club in the world that hasn't used the Diablo font. He grins eagerly. Yeah, this is Papyrus and Comic Sans, right? How do you know? You must be a font expert. I chose my words carefully, not wanting to dampen his enthusiasm too much. What about the Chiller font? Oh yeah, Chiller font works. They're kind of popular. A lot of people use them, but a lot of other people think they're a bit cheesy. Wingdings. I would actually very much be amused by people who can translate wingdings. If you put both of them on a poster, you might get some people making fun of it. Cormac shrugs. So, if there's one thing I've learned in my life, it's that some people will make fun of you no matter what. You're better off just trying not to worry about it. You can't please everyone. Cormac, we're not putting Papyrus and Comic Sans on the same poster. I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I don't want to be, like, guilty of helping them publish something with Papyrus and Comic Sans. Help me, chat, you're my only hope. Can I be tactful? I think we should still change them, seems like the tactful answer here. Change it? Yeah, change it. Go to the warehouse, yeah. Go to the warehouse. God damn it, Traz. You do have a point, but I think the poster might stand out more with some different fonts. Something people haven't seen a million times before and don't have any associations with already. Cormac tilts his head, his wolf ears flopping a bit to the side. A new font people haven't seen before? Where are you going to find something like that? Cormac, let me introduce you to the wonder that is 1001freefonts.com. Not an official sponsor of this stream. Cormac's eyes widen. That's so many fonts. And they're all free? Oh, you're gonna love it. But before that, I was wondering about the color scheme too. Yeah, even Google fonts would improve. Like, even a lot of the default fonts. Hey, if someone wants to sponsor digital diversity, like, there's definitely some improvements we could make here with the money. It's a bit unconventional for Halloween. He nods vigorously. Right? I wanted to make sure I put in a lot of red for blood because that's scary. I don't know. Like, I'm not one of those streamers that makes money. I'm one of those streamers that loses money. Because I'm here for people, I'm not here for monies. And then I figured contrasting colors are good, right? Oh shit. Okay, let's take bets. What is the contrasting color to lots of red on the poster? I'm thinking bright green. Just because of this. I'm thinking something neon. Blue, green, yeah. I'm thinking we've got some... I'm thinking we've got a lot of green going on. So I put in some green too. We are calling it today. Please think of the accessibility. That's gonna screw with people who have color blindness. So this part's green and this part's red. What? It could be like creepy monster slime. I think it will really stand out from the orange and black posters out there. Oh. I'm sorry, Cormac. I have to do what's best for the Werehouse. One major issue. Please reference colorblindness. It's gonna be referencing colorblindness. Well, I understand your reasoning, but red and green is kind of the typical Christmas color scheme. This is the one major if you roll into a complaint, yeah. It doesn't seem right for Halloween. People might overlook the poster thinking it's a Christmas event advertised early. Oh my god, can you imagine? I want to see the original poster design with Papyrus Comic Sans red and green. His glowing eyes widen with dawning realization. Oh. I don't celebrate Christmas, so I hadn't even thought about it. Oh, Cormac, I just want to pat you. That's so sweet. Whether he celebrates or not, I'm surprised that he could somehow escape the typical association between red and green and Christmas. Does he never go shopping during the entire month of December? Pat the doggo. Yeah, can we pat the doggo? At least he was willing to accept the criticism. Do you think we should switch to more traditional Halloween colors instead? I examined the screen. Maybe keeping the green would be okay, but we could replace the red with orange. I like this idea. Maybe even add a touch of blue. Then it's still unique. I like it. Aww. Let's do that. See, this is why you work with doggos. Doggos are happy to accept some criticism as long as it's helpful. And they just want to try new things. So, A+ to doggo representation. The last thing I wanted to ask about was the logo. I watch his face intently for any reaction, hoping I'm about to not ruin his artistic dreams. Did you draw this yourself? He smiles sheepishly. Or maybe I should say wolfishly. Okay, I know I'm not a great artist. It's a bit rough, but I think that's okay. He leaps into a dramatic pose, the light of his glowing hair dancing in his already shining eyes. It's got heart. It truly represents the work that Morrigan, Eseth, and I put into organizing the Werehouse every year. Yeah, hopefully they have enough contrast. Because even if it's not perfect, we keep doing our best. That's what the Werehouse is all about. Aww, I want to be part of their committee. I furrow my eyebrows and peer more closely at the drawing on the screen. I'm not really seeing the symbolism. Oh, do we stick with the cute, but like, oh. God, this, yeah, go with cute. Yeah, I think everything else is valid criticism, but I think Cormac deserves one thing that's very much him. Still, I'm charmed by his description. I don't want to make him feel like it's a bad art if it means that much to him. Maybe the rough aesthetic will catch some people's eyes. Okay, you've sold it. We'll keep your logo. Aww. Because of the heart. He pumps his fist in the air. I know all the feelings I poured into it will get through to people. I hope so. Talking about that gets me thinking about the early days of the Werehouse. It may look like a hugely successful local business right now, but there was a time when it was really just a passion project by a group of friends. I'm in love. Still clenching his fist, Cormac stares out into the distance. Well, as much as the distances there is before you hit the wall of the warehouse anyway. Back when all I had was a dream about bringing the people of this town the Halloween experience of their lives. Only one person believed in me, my best friend Morag. That is, until he made Eseth, and the trio of Werehouse visionaries was complete. He turns back towards me, dropping a bit of his dramatic monologue act. Oh man, let me tell you about the story of how we met Eseth. It's hilarious. So Morag and I would love to hear the story. I blurt out the words with false enthusiasm as quickly as I can before he can start another tangent. But maybe you can tell me later? We still have a lot of work on the poster. Yeah, I love Cormac. This was the right choice for now. Oh yeah, the poster. Let's do it. He flounces back onto the ground, landing in a cross-legged position. I don't know how he isn't in pain from throwing himself on the concrete floor that hard. Maybe it's a werewolf power. Yeah, no, that's what I do too, so werewolf power confirmed. Okay, let's get to work. We have a lot of changes to get done before you can send it to the printers. Yeah, if he isn't neurodiverse, I mean, the way he talks, the way he acts, he's definitely going to be neurodiverse in some way. You certainly only had a few hours, right? We'll need to come up with a plan and stay focused. You sound like you're taking charge. The apprentice has become the master. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to boss you around. I just like to make sure everything's organized. No, that's perfect. Yeah, Cormac definitely needs someone in his life to keep him focused. Oh my god, Cormac needs a handler. Are we gonna end up Cormac's handler? I'm having feels. Yeah. Okay, I'm having some puppy feels right now, don't mind me. I blush at yet another interjection from one of the organizers. Was she listening from just over the whole time? I hope she thinks I'm doing okay at my job. Yeah, it's true. You seem way more organized than I am, so we make a great team. You can be like my manager, and I can be like the eccentric rock star you need to drag away from the parties to make sure he doesn't sleep through the show the next day. Don't indulge the rock star fantasy. You don't want to hear about what happened that time Cormac tried to start a band. Like and subscribe was a great band. I was not ready for that. Punk will never die. Like and subscribe was the realist. I'm okay. I'm okay. You're just jealous that you're not a one-hit wonder. Sure, and if you can even call that song a hit. It was on the charts, technically. Hey, about the whole keeping focus thing, Right. Comic sits up straight at attention. I'm okay. I'm okay. What do we first, boss? Well, I lean over Cormac's laptop to point out what I think we should do first. He nods and begins to make some changes according to my instructions. I do my best to keep him on task when he gets sidetracked, and he shows some real proficiency with image editing once he gets down to it. Over the next little while, the final poster begins to take shape. I love it. I would go to that. That logo is the best. I kind of want to see what the original poster is. Okay, I'm just going to quickly save it. And we're going to scroll back to the choices. Okay, I just want to see what the choices are. We ready for this? We ready for this? So, the original poster design. Oh gods. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Let's do it. Holy shit. That's actually rad. Like, I would go to that. Yeah, I'm definitely glad we went for his logo. Yeah, that, like, I would go to that. Okay, we're gonna load. I think we go with that one. Yeah. I think this will do. And the polished one is just the, like, the actual logo of the game. Yeah, I don't know if I was imagining something different, but it definitely came out good. Like, hey, Morik, Esses, check this out. He hoists the computer into the air and runs the lap around the warehouse to show them both. Be careful with that. I guess he can be as cavalier as he wants with his own electronics, but also, that one also has the only copy of the poster we've been working on all morning. I watch with gritted teeth as he haphazardly shoves it in each of his friends' faces while in motion. Somehow it manages to stay balanced, even as he skids to a halt with it dangling from his hand. Yeah, I think he preferred to be helped. Can you send that file to the printers, like, right now, before you do anything else? Sure. He tempts fate further by once more hurling himself to the ground, laptop in hand, before opening up his email. And sent. I sigh with relief. I can't wait to go put these up all over town. Where do you live, Kaiju? I can meet you there tomorrow morning. You don't need to come all the way here when you're going to be heading to downtown anyway. I consider how my family might react to a warehouse with warehouse? Fuck, I really wanted to date that warehouse. You can tell, like, this warehouse wanted to date it. They're out to a werewolf with glowing green eyes turning up at the door tomorrow. Can we make it the afternoon instead? They should all be out of the house by then, and I don't like waking up too early anyway. Night of the Living Warehouse, yeah. Okay. I give Cormac my address and make sure he also writes down some very specific directions. I can definitely picture him getting lost and wandering around for hours, and I don't need to start any rumors about the neighborhood cryptid. I want to be the neighborhood cryptid. What do I need to do to, like, be a cryptid? If you know what kaiju can do to become a neighborhood cryptid, please send your responses to my Twitter account. Our work done for the day, I say goodbye to the new strange co-workers and leave the warehouse. I mean, I'm the house cryptid, not the neighborhood cryptid. I only just moved to this neighborhood. Wander around the strange hours of Howl at the Moon. We going walkies tonight? Stay outside ominously with the old camera and a massive flash and See, the problem is we're still technically in lockdown right now. The next couple of weeks. Even though all I did was spend a few hours working on a laptop, I still feel mentally and physically exhausted. I'm ready to drop into bed by the time I get home. No, not all of it. Dinosaur costumes, one of the inflatable ones. That works. Why is dinosaur needed to be permitted? Weird. Cormac's antics are a lot to keep up with. A furious rapping at my bedroom door wakes me up the next morning, accompanied by the shrill voices of my younger siblings. Kaiju, get up! There's some weird guy with really creepy, freaky contact lenses at the door for you. Yeah, definitely some competition here. Huh? Yeah, since when do you hang out with furries? What? Okay, I'm up. I stumble out of bed and hastily throw on some clothes before rushing past my siblings to answer the door. Alright, yeah. Hi! Cormac, is everything okay? I thought you were coming by later in the afternoon. Yeah, that's true. I look over my shoulder, hoping he isn't about to launch into a tale about some supernatural mishap that he needs my help to solve. I can't actually see them, but I can sense my siblings lurking around the corner, eavesdropping for gossip. Yeah, everything's good. I just got really excited about the posters, so I wanted to put them up right away. Yeah, I need to get an inflatable dinosaur costume. Look, I picked them up as soon as the print shop opened. They're so cool. He gestures to a big plastic bag on the ground beside him. I can't say cool is the exact word I would use. And more importantly, dude, this is not an emergency. You did not have to wake me up. Or give my siblings a whole year's worth of reasons to make fun of me. Oh, is it too early? His face falls and he stops fidgeting around so much. I'm sorry, I'm naturally nocturnal, so I don't have a good sense of when other people are sleeping. Fucking valid. Right now is like staying up late for me, and I'm so pumped. I'm ready to stay up all day. His mood lifts again almost instantly, and the bouncing resumes. I did bring you coffee. He thrusts the large paper cup at me. Sure. The dog tags aren't helping. Do you want to close the windows? Well, that almost makes up for it. I accept the cup and take a sip, eyeing his non-stop movements. How much coffee have you had? None. This is all natural energy level. Holy shit. Cormac, whatever you're made of, I want some. Terrifying. So, are we doing posters or what? I sigh. Well, alright, but we need to have a talk about in the future about how early it's acceptable to wake me. Okay, I love future talks. Let's go. Cormac throws the bag of posters over his shoulders and sets off at almost a run. I'm going to work. I call out to my unseen siblings as I grab my wallet and phone and follow the speedy werewolf out the door. Fortunately, I have time to catch up to him when he screeches to a halt at the street corner. Almost forgot. He pulls the hood of his sweater up, covering his ears. I have to make sure I hide my wolf features out in public. You couldn't have thought about that before knocking on my door? My family's gonna ask a ton of questions when I get home, you know? Yeah, they're gonna assume that we're a furry now. Yeah, just claim to be a furry. Especially with a collar that has a wolf tag on it. Holy shit. Like... There's hints. There's hints there. Yeah, exactly. People who go around wearing tails and spiky collars with woof dangling off the front are probably assumed to be furries. Yeah, the hood's not improving matters. At least they seem to have assumed that he's wearing a costume, so I'm not going to have to explain the existence of the supernatural just yet. But I'm still bracing myself for an earful from my parents for this weird crowd I'm getting involved with. Oh, that's right. Your family doesn't know about demi-humans, do they? He pauses to staple a poster to the telephone pole before continuing down the street at a constant pace. What's a furry? I'm so used to hanging out with Morag and S's all the time that I haven't even thought about it. I've never had very many human friends. Not for long. I struggle to keep up as we approach the neighborhood park. Why? Hey, I bet I can climb the tree. I like that. Like, it interrupts you as your character's speaking. Like, he's running to climb that tree. Just watch in horror. Before I can say anything, Cormac has tossed the sack of posters onto the ground and sprinted into the park. He appears to be planning to use a short running start to leap up and grab a tree branch that's at least a couple of feet higher than he'd normally be able to reach from the ground. And there's a moment as he kicks off into the air with an unexpected grace that I almost believe he's gonna grab it. I hold my breath. Time seems to slow down, his hoodie rippling in the wind. Yeah, sometimes you gotta let your doggo play in the park. And then his fingers just barely graze the bottom of the branch and he crashes into the dirt on his face. Oof. Cormac, are you okay? I rush to his side, grabbing the discarded posters on the way. Fortunately, by the time I reach them, he's already getting back to his feet, readjusting his hood and brushing the dirt off his clothes. Yeah, I'm fine, don't worry about it. This happens all the time. I shudder to think about how often. But since he isn't hurt, I shrug and head back to the park's main path. He follows me, seemingly more capable of sticking to a slower pace now that I've taken the lead. Sorry, what were you gonna say earlier before I saw the tree? I think back to a few moments ago. Oh yeah, you said you never had very many human friends. I was just gonna say that I've never had a werewolf friend either, so I guess we're even. Ooh, fun fact. Cormac skips a few steps in his enthusiasm. I'm not technically a werewolf. Really? I feel my face flush and I hope that his hood obscures his peripheral vision enough that he can't see it. I guess I shouldn't have assumed, but hey, it's totally fine. I mean, it is called the Werehouse and everything. Are they the Werehouse? Are we dating the Werehouse after all? But that's more of a convenient pun. I don't really mind if people think I'm a werewolf. I do have a lot in common with them. I'm actually just a furry. Some of my distant cousins are part werewolf, actually. But I'm really a barghest. That's actually even cooler. I have a thing for barghists. I've never actually heard of that. Not a lot of people have. Let's get some posters up over there and I'll tell you all about it. We arrive at the central courtyard of the park, a circle of benches and several community notice boards covered in flyers for other events. Cormac picks out a few good spots for our own advertisements before leading me into a less populated area among some trees. We take a seat on a partially hidden bench and Cormac scans for any observers before removing the hood of his sweatshirt once more. The fur in his ears has been visibly smushed down and he reaches both hands up to ruffle it. This is much more comfortable. The hood doesn't hurt your ears, does it? I wouldn't want to force him to physically discomfort on my account. Then again, he's the one who wanted to get up and run around town this early anyway. Oh no, it's fine. I always make sure I buy sweaters with big comfy hoods. Mode. But it just feels better to be more free. I wouldn't wear any clothes at all if society didn't say we had to. I mean, right? Why does society always get to make this decision for us? I can't help but picture Cormac dancing around the public park fully nude. I wonder if he is typically masculine human body or if there's some more werewolf characteristics hidden underneath his clothes. At the very least, I imagine he must have an extra hairy chest. I look down his t-shirt, feeling a little curious about it now. I mean, I'm not saying anything. Yeah, try to make that jump naked, that would have hurt. But I guess I should stick to the less personal questions first. So, you were going to tell me what the difference between a werewolf and a trail off not wanting to pronounce the new word I just learnt wrong. Yeah, the face right now is like, hi. A barghest, right. He leans towards me, his necklace is jingling. So one of the main differences is that a werewolf will become a wolf when the moon is full, no matter what. They can't really control it. Barghests can shapeshift into wolf form too, but it's not on a specific cycle like that. Not all barghests are fully in full control of it at all time. Sometimes we might shift instinctively as a reaction to stress or surprise or something. But usually, the more practice we get, the more we're able to transform at will. So, you're choosing to be in human form right now? You could just turn into a wolf if you wanted? Basically, yeah. A skinwalker, but also a furry. Is it difficult to do? It's like any kind of exercise, really. If I get out of shape, it might take a lot more effort to tire me out. But I do my wolf workouts pretty regularly, so it's no big deal for me. He grins and flexes a bicep. I can't tell if it's actually especially toned or not, since he's wearing such a thick hoodie. Alright, you look after yourself, Pam. Stay safe, okay? So when you transform, you're still totally conscious and everything? Same guy, just in wolf form? Cormac's personality actually makes a lot of sense when you imagine him as a big dog. I mean, so does mine. Yeah, so you think that might make it a little scary than werewolves, right? A werewolf on full moon is going totally feral. But Barghest is still a sentient person. We won't attack you for no reason. Right. I hadn't even considered the possibility that I might encounter a wild werewolf until now. I'm going to start checking the phases of the moon before I go out at night. But you see... Cormac leans towards me again with a sudden sharpness to the shine in his eyes. The wind kicks up almost as if on cue, making me glad I'm also wearing a hoodie. This art is amazing. In a way, that means a Barghest can be even scarier. Reflex deck. Just whomp. Just crunch him in the face with the posters. Because you know that if a Barghest does something violent, it's not just animal instinct. It's an act of real and terrifying malice. I feel Cormac's breath on my throat and I find myself leaning away, shifting toward the edge of the bench. There's an old story about evil Bargus like that, you know. A knight went looking for it in a cave in the cliffs. He thought he could defeat it, but of course, he was a fool. What can a human do against the raw power of a spirit wolf? On the steep fell's height shone the fair moonlight, and its beams illumined the dale, and a silvery sheen clothed the forest green, which sighed to the moaning gale. Is he reciting a poem? Since when does Cormac, this guy who's proven to be dumb as a brick on several occasions throughout our entire short acquaintance, just casually memorize poetry? It's so absurd that I almost have to laugh, but at the same time, the scene he's describing is genuinely chilling. His deep voice resonates through the trees as he continues his performance, the wind seeming to increase the intensity along with him. It even looks overcast outside all of a sudden. Can Bargus control the weather? The more words that leave his lips, the more willing I am to believe that he can and does control anything he wants. And dreadful thing from cliff did spring, and its wild bark thrilled around. Its eyes had the glow of fires below. 'Twas the form of the spectre hound. Ah! With my involuntary shriek, the spell, if there ever was one, seems to be broken. The vicious wind has calmed back down to a gentle caress. The sun peeks out of the clouds once more, and Cormac tosses his head back in genuinely joyous laughter. You should have seen your face. Punch him. Holy shit, Cormac. Just give him a whap. You were so scared, I can't believe it. I was just fucking with you. Bargus aren't scary at all. He wheezes, struggling to catch his breath. The corners of my mouth twitch and soon I'm giggling along with him. That was so mean. I was really scared. You were scared of me? That poem is just made up ghost story. Bargus are mostly really friendly. Isn't that obvious? Look at me. Look how not scary I am. I can't believe that actually worked. Holy shit. That's a lot of mood. As the clouds dissipate further and the sun warms our faces, Cormac puts a comforting arm around my shoulders. We relax on the bench together for a few more minutes, laughing until we can't anymore. Eventually he stands up, stretches and tucks his ears back into the hood. Okay, let's get back to work. Hey, isn't my job to keep you on task? Cormac puffs out his chest. Well, since it was a little mean of me to prank you so hard, I'm gonna try to make up for it by being responsible. Good dog. For the rest of the day at least. I smile as I get to my feet and sling the bag of posters over my shoulder. I've learned my lesson now. I don't believe anything you say. No, I'm totally serious. I'm gonna put so many posters up and try not to climb any trees. I promise. Sure. His protestations about how hard he's working only last until we exit the park and onto the main street on the other side of it, and he catches sight of an interesting looking building. Hey, check this out. Parkour! Fuck. No! I sprint after him once more and the plastic bag slips out of my hand. The wind picks it up again and a few of the posters lifting into the air, wafting down the street behind me as I attempt to coax Cormac down from a windowsill. I guess that's one way to get them out to where people will look at them. My phone's ringtone wakes me up the next morning. I groan as I force myself out of bed and begin groggily searching the room for the source of the sound. My feet are killing me after doing so much running around with Cormac yesterday. We did get the whole stack of posters up all over town eventually, but not without several other distractions. It was already getting dark by the time I headed home to face my family's scrutiny. At least Cormac told me that after all the work I'd done, I could take the next day off. Hi, did you sleep well? But now he's calling my phone for some reason. Alright, I guess. In fact, he's video calling my phone. Who does that without warning? I hope my hair isn't too messy. It's not too early to call, right? I made sure to wait until 10. I did in fact instruct me last night that if he ever wanted my help at the last minute again, 10 a.m. was the earliest that I wouldn't be mad about. I didn't expect him to follow those directions so soon, but I have to admit that according to what I told him, he's not technically doing anything wrong. Ah, technically correct. The best kind of correct. It's fine. What's up? Well, I told Marek all about the great work we got done yesterday. As soon as he finishes the sentence, his characteristic grin transforms into a beleaguered-looking frown. But then she reminded me that physical posters are only half the advertising job. Apparently, I'm supposed to do something on the internet. And I know I gave you the day off, so I didn't want to bother you, but he looks over his shoulder before whispering into the phone. Kaiju, I really don't understand the internet. I need your help. This is like every day of my tech support job. I don't understand the internet. I need you to help. Or they usually just don't say, I need your help. They say, fix it. But close enough. Now we're tech support. I chuckle. I should have expected something like this. Fine. Do you want me to come by the warehouse? Warehouse? And yes, please. I can't believe he's correcting our... Yeah. Internet's weird. I love that I can tell that we're not saying it with the extra E. And yes, please. I'll see you there. I sigh and survey the room for clean clothes to put on. Maybe a nice outfit Cormac hasn't seen before. Who am I kidding? I wear the same hoodie every day. That saves you having to redraw sprites. Cormac is the only one there when I arrive, hunched over his laptop on the floor again. I guess Morag and Esseth have gone out to take care of other tasks again. Other tasks? Yeah. Kaiju! He springs to his feet when he sees me, almost spilling the drink he's holding in one hand. I got you some coffee again. Thanks. Dealing with Cormac sometimes feels like it's a net neutral in terms of my mood. He annoys me by waking me up early with far too much enthusiasm. But then he makes up for it with little gestures like this. He watches eagerly as I take a sip, waiting for my reaction. It's good. Well, maybe better than net neutral. It is pretty nice to see his face light up when he succeeds in making me smile. I'm having feels. I'm glad you like it. So can you explain the internet to me? Morag says we have to make some posts about and try to get some likes. He moves his fingers to symbol quotation marks as he speaks. She also says, I can't believe you forgot that, Cormac. We do it every year. I don't remember though. Maybe I was distracted last year. Mood. It seems likely. Well, where does she want you to make these posts? Do you have a social media account for the warehouse specifically? Or are we talking just personally posting some community groups? He knits his brows. I think we had an account somewhere? I remember getting in trouble once for trying too many wrong passwords. Why do passwords have to be so complicated? There's always telling you that you need numbers and special characters. It's too much to remember. I can never think up good ones in the first place. I need someone else to be a password thinker-upperer for me. Well, I don't know about that part. But I could set up some shiny new accounts for Werehouse in a few places to try and build more online presence. Okay, let's do some posts. Over the next little while, I put together some social media pages for the Werehouse, using the logo that Cormac allegedly put all his heart into for the avatar. Our Werehouse. Make people... Oh god. Oh god, they're using the drawn one as well. This is gonna be awkward, but awesome. Cormac looks over my shoulder, nodding with approval as I search for relevant groups and hashtags to share information about the event. It's not nearly as exciting as the adventures of the previous day, but it might be more efficient at getting the word out. Hang on, thinking about those adventures gives me an idea. Cormac, do we have any of the sets and costumes and stuff ready for tomorrow? We built a lot of those sets tomorrow morning when some extra people come in to help, but I bet Esther has most of the costumes ready, and some props and stuff too? Why? Call them and see what we can use. I bet we could throw together a pretty good video trailer. Like a preview video, but the movie is us? Exactly. I'm thinking we get some good shots of the most creepy looking stuff we have, and I pause for a dramatic flourish. Maybe Cormac's theatrics are rubbing off on me. And what? And you could read that scary Barghest poem. Cormac's jaw drops. I get to star in the movie? Well, it's not exactly a movie, but sure. I'll call Esses right now. With Esses' help, we get some good shots to provide a preview of the attractions of Werehouse without giving too much away. The way they set up the lighting is perfect. Everything comes out looking super creepy as it should. Even though I've already heard the poem once before, I still get a bit of a shiver down my spine when Cormac records the audio. It's amazing how intimidating he can make himself sound when his real personality is such an extreme contrast. For the last few shots of the trailer, we decide to go with Cormac himself emerging from the shadows, staring down the camera with his glowing eyes. From there it dissolves into a black screen displaying all the event information for tomorrow night. I post the link to all the places I can think of before letting out a deep sigh and lying down on the Werehouse floor. Okay, our character's actually really damn good at marketing. Like, surprisingly really good. Like, this is some good shit. It's getting dark outside already, and I hope there's still enough time for some people to notice the cool video before the event tomorrow night. Cormac sits down next to me as Eseth rearranges the last of the props that we were using. Sorry I make you work so hard when it was supposed to be your day off. That's okay. The video was my idea anyway. And it was a great idea. I never would have thought something like that. You should be in charge of marketing every year. Well, if you want me to, I mean... I smile and try to imagine a future in which I work in this haunted house with Cormac, Morag and Eseth every October. It's definitely not the kind of normal steady job my parents wanted me to get, but it might be nice. Hell yeah. Hey, has anyone watched the video yet? I want to see. Probably not many people yet, but I'll check. I sit up and refresh the video page. We're actually getting a fair amount of comments already. Some of them are the typical rudeness you get on the internet, but most are pretty positive. 69 views, of course. Nice. It's weird that I think the creepy guy looks kind of hot. Too spooky for white. Is that guy from... Oh my god. Is that one guy from Like and Subscribe? Fuck. I'm good. Hell. Well, Cormac, people love you. As I tilt the screen so he can see it, one comment in particular catches my eye. Hang on. Were you actually in a famous band that people recognize you from? Punk will never die. Yeah, didn't I mention it? Like and subscribe. We only ever made one album, but it did pretty well in the local indie scene. Hang on a minute. His eyes dart between the relevant comment and one of the buttons just below the video. Like and I get it now. I have so many questions. Both general ones about Cormac's brief music career and specific ones how he managed to miss the pun in his own band name until now. We'll have to wait for later since it's already past time for me to go home. I hope my brother doesn't eat my share of dinner before I get there again. I start to stand up and close my laptop, but Cormac stops me. Hang on. Just a second. I want to read all these comments. Okay, but there's no food for me left when I go home. I'm sending you guys my takeout bill. Cormac nods, his attention still absorbed in the screen. Wow, this person says I'm hot. If it's the same comment I just saw, they also called him creepy in the same sentence, but I'm glad he's focusing on the positive. I guess creepy could be a compliment when it's a trailer about a haunted house anyway? Is that true? You're asking for my opinion? Cormac turns to me, the laptop screen lighting up one half of his face while the other is in shadow. At least partially in shadow. He can never be fully covered in darkness because the way his bright green eyes and the frontmost locks of his hair always seem to generate their own light. The same way his constantly cheerful personality lights up a room, so that you can't help be happy around him, even when he's acting totally ridiculous. Or at least I can't. I mean, that's very subjective and depends on the person, and also yes. I have to go now. Fucking A+ queer flirting there. I love it. Okay. This time he relinquishes control of the laptop more easily and I slam it shut before scrambling to my feet and whirling towards the exit. Oh, that's some good gay flirting going on. As I approach the door with a speed that rivals Cormac's exhausting walking pace, he merrily calls out to me. I think you're hot too, Kaiju. Maybe you should be in the video next year. I bet we'd get even more comments. Yeah, I love you too. Hi Jason, how you doing? We're just romancing a bargist. Don't mind me. Yeah, good idea. I mumble something along the lines of thanks while staring at my shoes the whole walk out. Does he mean anything by that, or does he just call his friends hot all the time? Also, was Esther sitting there the whole time? It's the big day, D-Day, or H-Day? It's funny, I've spent all this time working with Cormac, but I have no real idea what the others have been up to all this time, or what to expect when I get to the warehouse. For that, I'm going to need to play through the other two storylines for that, but that I'm going on my own terms. Sorry, warehouse. I gotta get better at that now there's gonna be customers around. The sight of the warehouse makes me feel even more out of place. It's still early, very early for me, if not regular humans, or regular demi-humans for that matter. But there seems to be a lot of activity happening inside as I approach the front gate, and I dither for a second, not quite knowing what to do. Do I find someone to ask, or just busy myself with whatever needs to be done? Thankfully, I spot a familiar pair of lupine ears bounding towards me through the front doors of the building. Cormac! Kaiju! You made it! Of course. Gotta be early on the big day, right? He flashes me one of those trademark wide, toothy grins. A grin that might have been threatening 3 days ago. But now I know much better than to take a sharp edge of those canine teeth seriously. Canine teeth. You worry about something, Kaiju? Nervous? Just thinking about your teeth. Super normal, like a regular person does all the time. Teeth, 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 teeth. Wondering what I'm going to be doing today, actually. Saved it. All that, I remember, that's why Morag sent me to get you. Why didn't she come herself then? She must have known he'd likely forget as soon as she asked him. She's busy putting together the different teams of people for different tasks and making sure everyone knows where the first aid kit and emergency exits are when they come in. This is good. Good event management. Yeah, they've actually got a pretty decent event management team going on. Ah well, fair enough. I'm not sure what I'd trust anyone else to take care of that, to be honest. Anyway, she said to tell you that for a little while this morning, you're going to be behind the ticket booth outside. I hadn't even noticed on my way in, but Cormac points over my shoulder and yup, there it is. A little pine booth overlooking the footpath outside the front of the warehouse. And then after that, you can help us test out the haunt once we've done all the heavy lifting, though all the decorations won't be in yet. Then we all eat dinner early before the haunt starts. That explains the receipt I spotted on Morag's desk for a very large, very expensive catering order. And during the actual haunt, what do you want me to do then? He hesitates for a second. Actually, we haven't decided. There's a couple of spots that could need filling since Morag heard one of our regulars might be too sick to make it this year, but if everyone turns up, we might not need you at all. That'd be kind of like an anticlimax to be honest. That's nice and all, but I want to help. It'd be weird to be the only one here without a job to do in the haunt itself, and I'd feel like the token human being left out. I'll talk to the other two. We'll find you something to do, don't worry. I poked my head into the warehouse to say hi to Eseth and Morag, who are oddly hard to find amid the crowd of other demi-humans moving things around in there. Then I retreat outside to the street where I end up spending most of the morning running the ticket booth. Morag told me earlier that we'd get the majority out of ticket sales as people arrive late at night, but a fair amount of people come early to get a discount, to make sure they can get enough tickets for a big group, or just to see what's going on over here. It's not the most exciting job, but at least I get to hear comments from some of the customers about what got them interested in the event. I'm so excited, this looks even better than last year. I'm gonna face my fears this Halloween and try not to scream. Do you guys know you spelled warehouse wrong? Ooh, spooky. Were you guys inspired by the rumor that the ghost horse going around? No, I haven't heard about that. A ghost horse? Weirdly specific kind of rumor. I wonder where that came from. Maybe one of the demi-humans inside is actually a ghost horse. Then it's probably better for that nobody can see inside the warehouse from here. After a few hours, Morag comes to relieve me. Hey, your turn to brave the chaos is there. She looks pale, even more so than usual. I can imagine she's been flat out all morning, trying to manage everyone's coming in and out. Asterix, come here. Come here. One Piece Booktober without a kitty. What do you think, Asterix? What do you think of Morag? Yeah? Yeah? You sure you want to be on the booth right now? I can keep going for a bit if you need a rest. She sits herself down next to me on the bench. I'll be fine. It's slow enough out here that this is basically a break for me. Yeah, I know that, Mood. Like, I've done enough event management stuff to know that sometimes you would rather just be on the front desk or the front of the ticket booth. Love you, Asterix. Than inside dealing with stuff. Besides, Cormac needs your help inside, and if you still want to help him in Eseth tends the horde, yeah, Asterix is a good boy. I shrug, but make a mental note to get someone to ferry some food and water out to her later, or something. Then I head inside. Turns out what Cormac meant by help us test the haunt is wander around the haunted house and pretend to be scared. I think I can manage that. And anyway, it's pretty clever how they've decided to set up the inside of the warehouse, and I'm pretty sure most of it was Eseth's idea. Only bits and pieces in there so far, but painted sheets are draped from overhead foam walls and corridors, wiggling all around the inside of the space in unpredictable directions. Sometimes the path broadens into fake rooms, some of them with furniture piled in there already, where something spooky must be planned to happen in each group of customers. Cormac has me start right in the doorway where customers will begin their journey through the haunted house. Creepy music starts playing from somewhere. The Victorian tragedy theme is pretty obvious from the start. Everything is in gloomy greys. There's backdrops painted with foggy trees, and in the rooms where there's furniture, fake cobwebs draped around all these neat little knickknacks. I bet Esseth thrifted these from somewhere just for the haunt. Or they're from Morag's house. She seems the kind of person who would own a lot of dusty antiques, right? I feel like I should have read Wuthering Heights to get in the mood for this at any rate. I know Esseth has been working really hard on the costumes the last few days, but I can't imagine how they're going to look. Surely if they're trying to clothe an entire warehouse worth of actors, the quality can't be that good. Not that I can see any of the costumes in here yet. None of the demi-humans will be actors are here yet, or if they are, they're outside on lunch break with everyone else. Instead, as I round the first corner of the constructed hallway, I hear running footsteps past me, and I can almost see a shape zoom past on the other side of the hung-up sheet that blocks off the corridor and the rest of the room. That would have been spooky if I didn't know exactly whose footsteps they belonged to. Boo! Cormac jumps out from behind the corner and I pretend to be scared even though I 100% saw this coming. I must do a good job because he begins giggling immediately. Got you, Kaiju. You sure did. It's not how it'll go tonight though. S's voice emerges from somewhere, but I can hardly see them, probably managing all the sound effects from some little hidey hole in the set. He's just filling in. Where you are now, the first room, there'll be all spooky voice calling the group forward and then someone hiding at the coat rack to give them a spook. Nothing scarier than a coat rack. Like, those things are scary. Don't know if you've ever been scared by a coat rack, but they're scary. Cormac disappears again behind a fold in one of the sheets, and then I keep walking through various rooms set up to look like spooky old mansion. The roundabout path makes the warehouse feel even bigger on the inside than it already is, and before long I feel disoriented with all the twists and turns, even though I've been in here before and can see where I'm going. But ultimately it's not really that scary in here yet. With Cormac's frantic footsteps as he tries to stay ahead of me and fill in for all the actors, and all the daylight streaming in from the skylight in the roof. Esseth misses the timing on a few of the sound effects too, but that happens to the best of us. Apparently, since during the real thing they'll be busy spooking people using their statue form in one of the rooms, the sound will actually be managed by someone else with superhuman senses to be able to time things just right. So that's what you do. You get people with like superhuman senses to do all the AV work. The demi-human stuff really does come in handy for a production like this, huh? And then towards the end, the haunt ventures outside. Towards the back of the warehouse, Cormac appears at my elbow suddenly and gestures to the door in front of me, where he explains Morag will be playing her part, the Black Stallion of the Moor. As he puts it, at least. I can imagine Morag is hardly stoked about being called a stallion, but I've learned better than to ask by now. That's not a stallion. Stop making judgment calls. The rear yard of the warehouse is where Morag will chase the group of customers around as the crescendo of the haunt then funnels them back through a roller door on the beginning of the warehouse into a corridor safely back to the front of the building. Yeah, maybe she prefers that title. That'd be totally valid. You'd be amazed how scary Morag can be in her horse form. I'm not sure I would, actually. She's pretty scary out of horse form, too. Cormac leads me down the last spooky corridor, relatively unadorned. Since it's after the climax of the show, though, there are still fake cobwebs in every corner. Then we emerge to the front yard. watching one of the kitties curled up in a donut trying to deal with the heat. That was fun. I know, right? Let me know what you think. Any changes we need to make? I mean, I wasn't really scared, but it's hard to tell since so much of it wasn't final. It seemed fine to me, apart from all the light in there and a few sound errors. Sorry, I'm fixing that now. It'll be fine on the night. Anyone in theatre knows it'll be fine on the night. As usual, S's voice echoes seemingly out of nowhere. I can make a mental note to go see where they're hiding all this time. How can they hear me from everywhere in the building? After my mystery tour of the house itself, I'm relegated outside to the communal snack table, making sure everything is kept full and the water bottles are cold. I get the feeling the committee is really reaching to find things to occupy me with, but I don't mind that so much, really. Besides, I get to watch as lizard demi-human wanders up and starts absolutely going to town on a plate of insects, which I hadn't even noticed was there, so I must be doing a terrible job of snack table maintenance. They don't seem to see me behind the table at first, though one of the suckers' padded feet is clinging to the tabletop. Are they nervous? As soon as I try to make eye contact, they wrench the plate away and scurry off behind the corner of out of sight. Wow, just like the tiny lizards in my yards, they run away easy. At least their tail didn't drop off when I spooked them. Memeing. Then a leprechaun and a harpy whose bird parts almost look magpie-ish. Ooh, a magpie harpy. I need to see if viewers can do me a magpie harpy. That actually sounds pretty amazing. Heck, I like this idea. Walking past the sector, holding hands. It looks like the leprechaun is doing magic tricks with one of the gold coins, making it appear and disappear with a flick of the fingers with free hand. Aww, the leprechaun and the harpy are together. I love monster romance, it's cute. The harpy can't take her eyes off the coin and she seems delighted to watch her companion's dexterity. Oh my god, she is a magpie! Eventually the leprechaun appears to pull it from her ear and presents it to her with a little nod. She takes it with a grin, then bends down to give him a kiss, which looks like he happily returns before she whips out a wing, screening them both from prying eyes. Like mine. Still, I can't help but smile. That was cute. Soon after that, it occurs to me that I never even asked what Cormac's role is in the haunted house itself, if he has one at all. I seem to remember Essa saying there'd be a statue somewhere, and Morag is inside and the horse form terrorizing groups near the end of the haunt. But Cormac, I have no idea. Eventually, after fishing for info from a few demi-humans still wandering past to grab snacks, I learned that Cormac's job isn't just overseeing like I thought. He'll be spooking people by growling and making wolf-shaped shadows in one of the early rooms using his canine form. And like making that form with the hand and shadow puppets to be like a woof, woof, woof. And that's going to be real scary. Cormac loves doing that. Make fun of me. Even with all the spooky poetry, I kind of forget his wolf form was meant to be scary. To be honest, I'd been imagining as more of a big dog than a spooky wolf. I mean, the way the ears and tail look make a lot more sense for a Bargus than a werewolf anyway. If you think like European dog versus like classical wolf. Still, I suppose anything can be scary when you can't see it head on. True. Either way, it's pretty clear nepotism if you ask me. All three committee members get starring roles in the production itself. Fishy. I'm startled out of my reprieve, revered by Cormac, who comes bounding past in a rush. Yeah, no, that was Cormac going past. I thought I had a moment there. Pizza's here. Oh god, of course Cormac loves pizza. Oh, I almost forgot we get fed a solid meal as well as snacks. Nice. And what? It's dinner time already? It's amazing how quickly the evening came up. When I look up, the sky is turning a dusky twilight blue. I check my watch, only an hour and a half until the haunt itself begins. God, I'm getting feels back to my old drama days. Like crashing underneath the table after eating far too much pizza before the show. I stack some of the empty bowls on the table to clear space, and not a moment too soon, as Cormac comes by again with a towering stack of pizza boxes. He's followed by a crowd of demi-humans, all chatting among themselves. The pizza boxes are flipped open, and I knew I didn't recognize the logo, as some of the boxes are topped with all sorts of things, like bugs, seaweed, and some kind of weird purple vegetable that I've never seen before. It's called an eggplant, okay? Holy shit. Just see what's out there. Pretty sure you don't get that sort of thing on a usual pizza. Esseth walks by and grabs a slice with the purple stuff on it. Domino's always makes the best pizza. Of course it's Domino's. God. What's the purple stuff? Mandrake. Wanna try some? Maybe not. Yeah, Domino's. I'd eat Mandrake pizza. Maybe not. I don't know how my stomach would react to mythical vegetables, and I don't know. And even though I know where the first aid kit is, I don't think now is the time to try it out. I opt for the safer slice of Hawaiian instead. Good choice. How many people do you think will play this and go, Hawaiian pizza, I'm not playing this game ever again? You can have what you want on your pizza, folks. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Seriously, just accept that people like pineapple on pizza. Or don't like pineapple on pizza. It's up to them. Before too long, the buzz of happy chatter turns into the buzz of purposeful chatter. People start trickling back inside, going to finish up the last bits of getting ready. Yeah, it's the safer choice. You take the Mandrake pizza? Hell yeah. Take a slice of Mandrake and a slice of Hawaiian. Who knows, maybe the pineapple's needed. I help a three-tailed kitsune pack the snack table away and then take a moment to catch my breath as she heads in. It's possibly the last free minute I'll have for myself for the rest of the night, and I'm damn well gonna use it to steady myself. Inhale, hold, exhale. Okay, this is it. It's almost time. I can hear groups of customers start to gather outside, chattering excitedly, though they seem to be kept well under control by a crowd-wrangling crew. The inside of the warehouse is a hive of activity, demi-humans everywhere, and some running to fetch last-minute props, others still putting on makeup and costumes. I make a concerted effort not to accidentally stare at anyone as they're getting changed. I managed to catch the committee members. They're having one last quick meeting 10 minutes before showtime. So did anyone ever decide what I'm doing through the haunt? Cormac looks nervous. It's weird. The expression doesn't sit right in his face. I'm so used to him smiling. Kind of. Turns out everyone we were expecting actually did show up. Which has literally never happened before. If you've ever done event management, you know what, you understand that. So we can't have you fill in for any of them. Long story short, all the fun jobs were taken, but you are the rookie. You should be expecting to do some grunt work. Grunt work? I mean, I'm happy to do it, but that sounds intense. I mean, it's cool. What am I gonna do? Is it actually grunting? Is our grunt work actually grunting? You're this year's Hobbit under the stairs. What? It's a super special role. You're making sure nobody gets hurt if they try to go up to the second story landing. Sounds special. People tend to ignore it if we try and block off the stairwell with tape or anything, because they think whatever we block it with is part of the haunt. But the landing is kind of falling apart, so it's pretty dangerous. Our first year, a customer nearly fell right into another group of guests. See? Pretty important, right? Okay, so what do I do? Stand in the way and tell people to get lost, or... Up to you. Usually people prefer to hide in the little cubbyhole underneath the stairs, so people can't see them, and then only come out if they need be. That way people don't think they're an actor or come in to interact with them, when they don't have any lines to spook prepared. It's almost time. Any last questions? Haven't really given me the time to think of any, but I don't think so. God, last minute event management jobs. No thank you. Been there, done that. That's the spirit. Eseth shepherds me to over the far corner of the building, winding through the sets and past all the demi-humans getting into their places. And then I scurry into the hiding place under the stairs. Not sure if the cobwebs under here are fake or not, but I can't bring myself to check. The normal house lights in the ceiling get switched off, so everyone must be ready and in place. It's eerie how quiet the building gets after that. I can still hear the noise from the crowd outside near the ticket booth, and somehow I can still feel that there's a lot of people in here with me, but I can't hear anything at all. Then the creepy music from before starts to play. I can just hear the footsteps from here as the first group enters the first corridor. Then they start screaming. They must have gone to the first room, near where Cormac is. It's kind of fun to follow them around in my mind's eye, remembering pieces from my own tour of the haunt earlier. Through their vision must be far scary with all the yelling they're doing. Well, it's fun for the first few groups anyway, before I start to get a little bored. Even when customers do get to this part of the haunt, they tend to ignore the area entirely. That's a wow, okay. That's... I mean, I'm glad people are learning about that stuff, but that shouldn't be like the ad people get. Okay. Odd. So I can only listen and wait for my spot under the stairs. Not to be ungrateful, I'm glad they found something for me to do. Yeah. But I feel like my part in the haunted house can be played just as easily by a wall. Or a few milk crates put in strategic places. Well, whatever. It's been a big, exhausting few days leading up to this, and I've been busy today, too. So it's nice to sit down for a while, listen while the others have their crowning moment. It seems to be going well, at least. I can hear giggles and screams echoing around the building pretty much constantly, as well as neighs and hoofbeats from Morag outside. And whoever it is on the sound desk doesn't seem to have missed a single cue yet. I'm more surprised that I haven't heard Cormac come out of character to yell boo at anyone yet, but I haven't heard a peep from him once. Color me very impressed. I just let my eyes closed, only to rest them, I swear, when I hear something off to my left. Peeping just slightly out of my hiding place, I spot a group of hauntees, as Eseth calls them, coming around the bend into the stairwell. Unlike the groups before them, the footsteps don't continue on the rest of the haunted house, and the closer they get, the more I realize they're giggling a lot, and the walking seems unsteady. They're drunk, basically. With them en route to the forbidden stairs, I suddenly have to stop, being sleepy, and decide how best to deal with the situation. My one responsibility during the whole haunt. No pressure. Make noises and spook them away. I already feel silly even thinking about this, but I guess hobbits from previous years have used the same method, so I should be fine, I guess. I wish I'd had time to practice or something. Here goes. I squish myself even further under the staircase so none of them can see me, and decide to start off with some just generic noises in case that's enough to scare them off. I make a few thumps with my feet and then do some creative tapping on the underside of the staircase. It's pretty echoey in this little space, which makes it louder, but I didn't hear any of them scream or anything. And from this far under the staircase, I can't see any of their reactions anymore. Go big or go home, I guess. Ooh. I start with a quiet, kind of warbly tone, then get louder and louder till I hear one of them shriek, "A ghost! Run!" I break off my ghostly noises and can just make out the hurried footsteps as the group run away, hopefully in the right direction. Thankfully, the rest of my watch is pretty quiet. Only need to discourage an editor spookies from poking around the stairs, but they're less of a challenge than the first. Feels like the haunted house goes pretty quickly, except my legs are sore from being cramped under the stairs for so long, and this droning spooky music is really starting to get on my nerves. But the music fades as the last group comes down the rear corridor to the outside, and after the last screams and laughter echo in the warehouse, there's a moment of stillness. Stillness. And then all hell breaks loose. Laughing, yelling, running footsteps as people finally get to break their hiding places and to celebrate. It's loud all of a sudden, but so joyful. I can't help but smiling. I only had a small part on the day, I guess, but it was nice to be part of the team, working towards something. And it's been really great to know that the committee members, even if it was kind of a whirlwind. I almost don't know how to feel that it's all over. What are you doing down here? It's a cyclops with bright pink hair. I think I've seen her around, talking to Morag. She pokes her head down the side of the hallway and looks down at me. Just sitting? There's a party about to start outside. Stop moping and hurry up. She disappears after that, dashing out of sight. I take her advice, stretching the kinks out of my legs and work myself out of my hiding place and try to remember how to stand up. The haunted house has been over for all of 2 minutes, but as I start making my way through the backyard, things already feel very different out here. God, post-event, like crew time. The regular lights are back on, and for one thing, I can still hear some customers chattering out the front to the crew of succubi who have been managing the crowd. Of course they get the succubi to manage the crowd. I was thinking it's someone big and like Stompy, but getting the succubi to do it instead makes so much more sense. There's groups of demi-humans clustered throughout the warehouse itself too. I passed by a room full of what looked like vampires, one of the rooms that used to be a spooky dining room. I say used to be, but it still kinda is. They match the scenery all too well. Room full of vampires, yeah. Yeah, I want to see more shy, well, When Esther Falls by Maddie, who was the lead writer for this, has like the shy introverted succubi. We need more of that though, definitely. Sat at the table drinking some kind of red liquid out of china teacups. I don't look too closely into any cups after that. In the corridor after that are doll-like people regaling each other with their best spooks from the haunt, and then the next group holds a sleepy pile of bear people already asleep on top of one of the prop beds. It's kind of groaning under their weight, but the whole scene is so cute. I can't bear to wake any of them. You really should. I recommend it. They're doing a remake of it soon. Highly recommend it. When Esther Falls, go check it out. Even if there is some convenient porridge there on the table. Finally, once I've made it outside, I can see that somebody has already started a bonfire in the yard. In fact, it's raging. The flames are half as tall as the warehouse behind me and climbing. Either there's magic involved here or someone poured a whole lot of flammable liquid on the kindling. The flames are getting a little too close to the overhead power lines for comfort, but I'm sure one of the demi-humans has fire magic or something, right? Everything's probably under control. It's also really sweet and ace rep, so highly recommend. Unless it's Cormac who lit the fire, in which case I'm probably right to be concerned. Just like the people inside, just like the inside people are already together in groups out there celebrating. Some of them very sleepily since the haunted house took a lot out of them. I spot Eseth near a table under the eaves in the middle of a very chaotic looking game of beer pong. The table is very wonky and the insect person taking their turn right now is totally cheating because they're using their extra set of arms to drop a ball from above instead of bouncing it in. In fact, if I look closely, I can see a few of Eseth's snakes are totally holding ping pong balls in their mouth. which is very cute, but I don't hope they all throw them at once. Kaiju, come play! Hi, Az. Maybe later, though. I think I'm a little too human to be competitive at that table, but we'll see how brave I get later on. I was never a serious party animal or anything, but it's a nice atmosphere out there. People are laughing, singing, standing by the fire. Someone's even busted out a guitar and playing it what it looks like very dexterous winged claws. There are demi-humans of all shapes and colours, and none of them so much as bat an eyelid at me. They probably think I'm demi-human too, since some of them pass for human very well. But either way, it's nice to feel so welcome, if a little strange. Kaiju! Cormac skids into view, a cup of something in his hand, somehow even more excitable than ever. Cormac, hey, I can't believe none of you mentioned there'd be a party afterwards. Really? I can't believe it either. It's the best part. Since Morag and I celebrate Samhain, we've always had a little party after the haunted house is over, but it's gotten bigger over the years. Like most things about the warehouse I've heard. So, Anne? Okay. Just wait till Morag brings out the cake later. Cake? This day just gets better and better. Cormac and I mosey towards the bonfire where he quickly gets whisked. Oh, Sawan. Okay. Whisked away from me and by excited group of other demi-humans. But I don't mind. I can easily occupy myself watching all the interesting kinds of monster folk milling around by devouring the remains of the catering order currently being demolished by all the hungry haunters. After the fire has died down somewhat, I hear excited voices from the back towards the building. The cake! Oh my god, I'm so full already. The crowd is already beginning to form around the warehouse door. Morag is halfway through a sentence by the time I manage to squeeze close enough to hear her. And as some of you know, we bake the traditional barmbrack cake at the end of every warehouse as part of our own Halloween celebration. And by we, I mean me. I peek over the heads of the crowd. It's not the kind of iced monstrosity I expected. It looks more of a bread than cake, dotted with raisins and baked into a wide, flat tray in order to feed the entire horde. Whoever finds the coin in their slice is going to have good luck for the rest of the year, particularly with money. Please chew carefully and don't swallow the thing for crying out loud. Okay, go. She clearly anticipated the onslaught and backed away quickly into the building because the group rushes for the tray and startling ferocity. I managed to snag a slightly battered slice from after most of the crowd has disappeared. It's me, I got it! I can hear Cormac's excited voice from all the way across the yard. I can't help but smile. He's worked surprisingly hard to make this happen, after all, so I am happy for him. No doubt any money he does get will go straight into making next year's haunt even bigger than the last. My slice of cake and I head back towards the fire, finding a spot on the empty bench upwind so the smoke doesn't get in my eyes. To be honest, the cake tastes more like bread too. I'm not entirely convinced that it isn't just bread masquerading as cake under a cake banner, but I'm not complaining. There's something homey about the taste of it. And controversial opinion, but I like raisins. Our character is just like fully controversial, like likes pineapple on pizza, likes raisins. I identify very heavily with them. Just looking into the flames makes me feel all sleepy and content. Besides, I'm tired. It might only have been 3 in a day's bit since I stumbled across the committee in the yard, but it feels like I've done a week's worth of work socializing in those days. Hey Rain, how you doing? We're just coming to the end, I think. The party is already winding down around me. Everyone's manic energy settling down into a lazy telling stories and catching up. I know the feeling. Time for a rest. I think we've all earned it, though I definitely know I'm gonna miss this place already. Feel something? Probably the storm coming. I hope that this time next year we're all together again, and I'm still the honorary human committee member. Not only did I make some great friends this Halloween, hopefully the wage check will get my family off my back for a few weeks. Hey, maybe Halloween isn't so bad after all. Ending 1. Friends with fiendish folks. Heck. That was really nice. I'm really keen to play this more and try out all the different characters and try out all the interactions. There's a lot going on there for a game that was made for Spooktober. So this was made during September so that games could be ready for October. That's okay. That's why there's a VOD. Gosh. You folks need to go and get it. So it is right down there, sadghoststudios.itch.io/warehouse. Go get it. It's a lot of fun. Next week we will be back on doing the same thing next week, and hopefully every month in October. Until next time. So if you want to follow more about what the Digital Diversity Project is, we are all about highlighting games made by the LGBTQIA plus community, and this sort of thing really gets to me, and I love it so damn much. If you want to check out the links down there, the link tree will take you to the Twitter account. If you want to help us, if you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you get early access to any of the blogs we do, the podcast we do, early notifications for all sorts of stuff, and that really helps keep the project running. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and I highly recommend folks go get it because it's damn good. But until next time, folks, look after yourselves, look after each other. Remember that you are not alone. Play games, make games, be queer if you are, be proud of who you are, and I will see all of you wonderful people next time. Ciao, folks. Get spooky. It's Halloween this month. Get spooky. See ya.